welcome back to the channel for what's hopefully going to be the final rebuild video on this old cat skid steer. If you're just joining me, I bought this thing for $4,500 a few months ago, and it had a common issue that a lot of the cat skid steers of this vintage have, which was a blown up engine. Now the engine block on that Perkins was prohibitively expensive to repair, and a new one, there's just not many available, and they're all extremely expensive to replace. So over the past few weeks, I've been swapping in a Yanmar engine that I had rebuilt here, and we're just about done, so let's finish it off. Okay, wiring. This, I believe, goes over the top of the engine, and there's a plug for this. Is that okay? We might want to fix that. It's been looks like it's been kind of crushed or melted or something, or a mouse got into it. This goes probably to the starter. That's the starter solenoid. This is alternator. I'm not sure what these go to. Is there? This is the original alternator, by the way. It says Caterpillar on the side, so that's going to line up. Oh yeah, so like this goes right in there. That's going to be nice. We got that, and that, and that. We'll have to figure out where those go. This is on the new engine. This is like, I think this is a fuel heater, which we won't need. And then under here, there's a, I'm assuming this is some kind of low fuel level thing. It's on the fuel filter right here. And then we got oil pressure back there, coolant temperature right here. That's about all we need. Okay, I was kind of digging through the old box of engine parts there, and I found this. So this is most likely the coolant temperature sensor. And then we got this, which looks like a fuel shutoff solenoid. So it's that 3-prong connector. And then we got this, which is the oil pressure, battery cables. So that really leaves the glow plug. I'm pretty sure this was the glow plug connector. So that pretty much explains everything. Get this stuff out of the way. There we go. This is lining up nice. So now we got the starter. So this alternator. Okay, I do not recall what this goes to. Is there anything to plug this into? Oh, this went to the, I think that went to this. Yes, that's the coolant temperature sensor. So I wonder, this looks almost the same as this. This is the temperature sensor for my run stand. I forgot to take it out. And then over here is the original Yanmar temperature sensor, which is your typical 1-wire. I bet you we can make this fit though. Let's pull this out. Maybe we can just get an adapter. This was just sealed with a aluminum washer. I sealed this one with an O-ring. Same thread. Yes, same thread. Nice. A new aluminum washer. I don't think you want to use copper. I think copper and aluminum like do stuff together. That's not good. Could have also used an O-ring, I guess. This thing's pretty dirty. Is this going to be long enough? Oh, it's just short. If I run this over the starter harness there, I think it'll give me a little bit more flex, and there's plenty of space underneath without it hitting the manifold. So let me do that real quick. Okay, that'll work. Tons of space. Okay, It's a little bit close to the manifold, but not bad. I don't think you can actually touch it if it wanted to. So I already got the oil pressure line hooked up there. So maybe we should get the battery hooked up and then we can kind of figure out. I'm pretty sure this is the glow plugs. It's actually going to work really well if it is, because it's just do that right now. Run it up in here. Run that up. And we can just hook it right into here. I mean, these are the glow plugs right here. That's no problem. That's even the same size. So they were good there. That should be fine there. Now I think the original Perkins was a direct injection. This is indirect. So usually indirect, the glow plugs need to run for a little bit. So it might be interesting to see how this works out with it starting. It might be hard to start unless I kind of adjust some stuff with the glow plugs. Only one way to find out though. Okay, so I guess we'll get the battery in. This goes this way? No. Okay. I think I might, maybe I'll kind of clean and repaint this. I got a battery mat here, which it's going to help protect this from acid. I think I need to, okay. I got this is like a little shock absorber mat. And then I got the cheapest battery money can buy. Does this strap come off? All right, I guess we can work around that. I got the original cables here. Okay, positive cable is run. I'm not super crazy with how close it gets to potential grounding spots, but it's good enough for now. I think I'll probably remake it in the future. Okay, negative is going right there. I'll do the spark test here, see if, okay. Just a little bit, let's see if we can get anything in the cab to light up. Okay, we're in the cab here. So I got a key. Okay. That would be the low oil pressure alarm. We got, this must be full tank of fuel. Oh, you got lights? Front lights? That light's not working. We got rear lights. Okay. Not sure what that is. That beeping is really annoying though. Okay. Okay, nothing smoking in the engine department, so let's see if we can bump the starter. Nope, nothing on the starter. It's really not letting me turn the... Is this backwards? It's really hard to turn too. What's going on with that? It's like it's kind of weird how it feels. It doesn't feel very good. Okay, so no starter. It should be working. I wonder if you can't start it. Maybe you can't start it with this up. Might be some kind of weird feature like that. Oh, parking brake. What does that do? Uh-huh. Is that glow plug or something? You're not. Maybe it needs to start with that. Why can't I not turn this now? Is there an interlock or something that's not letting me do that? Or is it just being difficult? Okay, okay, nice, all right. So it is it is just this little safety bar. Now we need to figure out which of these is 12 volts. Spoiler, it's going to be the red wire, but let's just double check. No, 0, 0. The connection's bad. Yeah, green is 12. Red's not. Okay, so we'll just use the green wire. Okay, I just used the connector that was on the actual cutoff solenoid, and I just used, this is the only lead I should need. It's red on this side, but it's green on the other. See? I'm just trying to confuse you. Okay, I think that's it for the wiring, but I am going to go through here and just kind of make sure that there's not a lot of this going on, especially this harness that runs behind the engine. Since the power and stuff all runs through that. That's before there's an inline fuse. So let's just make sure that's all really secured and not vibrating. There we go. Actually pretty good deflection right there, just a little bit tightening. That'll about do it. For the throttle cable here, we got a lot of slack to deal with. About there. This is the original bracket. It went like this or something. You know, if I folded this straight and hung it off of here, I think we pretty much have a solution. Give that a shot. Okay. Just want it to be about level with where it's supposed to go. I mean, right there. I mean, to make sure where the throttle's all the way, this should be all the way off. Yeah. I'm gonna adjust this back so we can just start in the middle of the, where the adjustment range is. Yep. About there. Check this out. I think those already line up. I just have to widen these. I think there's a hole drilled in there. This is gonna be easy. Is there threads in there? Oh yeah, there's threads in there. Okay, let me clean that out. It actually works really well that I need to have it back further, because these two bolt holes line up perfectly. These two are too wide. I just need to widen them up a little bit. All right, fully customized. Let's see if this fits. Beautiful. Okay. So maybe, is that going to be hitting anything? Not really. And then we want this to be, okay, so I need some adjustments. Is there any adjustability on here? Oh, I bet you I can adjust this. There we go. Let's just see let's see how close we are. Because I don't know which hole to use, so let's try that hole and see what happens. Okay, so we're a little bit off of idle. But let's try giving it full throttle and see what it does. Okay, so it's hitting here. That's impeding the throttle lever. So the throttle lever is pretty close to the, well, you can't really, it's kind of dark in here, but, and then this is, so that's really close. So I definitely want to use this outside hole, but I just need to adjust this so it's a little bit longer. Let's bring that back out. Nice. Okay, how much do we have here before it falls off? I don't want it to pull it off of idle at all. That's pretty good there. Yeah. Right there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. There's nothing worse than a throttle cable issue. So it's nice to get this ironed out here. All right, everything's tight. Let's give it a test here. So it's idle. It's throttle in. Okay, we're hitting that. And then we'll go back to idle. It's back to idle. Ooh, we're not all the way back. Didn't want to go all the way back. Yeah, that's returning all the way. I think it was just a little bit tight. Next up is the fuel system, and this is really simple. I mean, you have the inlet. They even have an arrow there that tells you that's in from the fuel tank. An outlet right there, which goes back. So, and then over here, this is where the outlet goes. I remember cutting that off. And then this is the inlet, which goes to a fuel water separator, which is a little bit rusty. So we'll have to clean this out. I want to keep this. So besides a couple lines, there is a little bit of a complication. So if you remember way back when I bought this machine, the other thing that was wrong besides the engine being frozen that was listed was the fuel cap was missing. So I did get a new fuel cap here, but this thing is probably sitting for a couple years with this no fuel cap. And if you remember when I had the dashes on, it said there was a full fuel, which is a little bit concerning. So there could be a ton of water in the tank. So we need to check that out before we go any further. Oh, okay, well, we do have a drain down here, I think. Oh, ooh, it's a mess. I think there and over there are drains for the drive gear chain or whatever section, but I think this one right here is for the fuel tank. All this oil down here is I think hydraulic oil that I was leaking when I was putting stuff together. Look at all the dirt in here. Not sure what kind of really, this one's not bad. There we go. Yep, it was a piece of rock. There's still just some stuff in here. All right, what? Oh, there we go. No, it's not 3/8. Yeah, that one's half. Why isn't this fitting in? Is it just smashed? Yep. You don't want to drop this plug because who knows how much this tank holds. Okay, that's definitely water. Oh, that's not an encouraging sign, but I kind of expected it. I mean, we'll just let this drip for a couple minutes and see. Let's see. It looks like we might already have some diesel right there. You know, maybe a 50-50 diesel water mix. Yep. It smells kind of, smells kind of like diesel. Looks like they were using on-road diesel. How big is this? 16 quarts. Yeah, we're gonna need. And there's no rust coming out, so I think we're gonna be good. We probably want to clean this out. This is from pressure washing. It blew all this stuff up in here. There we go. Okay, a little more clean here. So how did this go? Yeah. Brand new filter. Ooh, it's got a dent in it. No, this looks like it's keyed. That. This hose is in really good shape still. Let's go this way. Ooh. A little bit of a worry that this is kind of rotating in here. It's probably fine. One small issue is that the OEM fuel lines are all 1/4 inch barb. And up here, this is a 5/16. Well, it's not 5/16. It's whatever the metric, you know, close to that metric is. But it's the next size up is my point. So we're going to use 5/16 hose, which is going to be probably eventually end up leaking. But I can't get to the store right now, so we'll just use this for now. And then if it's a problem, we'll change it out. This off. Ooh, that was just not even a barb on that one. Ooh. 2 got about there. Okay, fuel line's done. I think I'm gonna go ahead and solder this connection and put heat shrink over it. I don't really like this. Don't really like that. Speaking of electronics, I came out here the other day and I hooked the battery back up and nothing was working. I'm not sure what had happened. It might have had something to do when I was hooking up when I was securing my wiring harness. But anyway, nothing was working. It took me about 30 seconds to figure out. There's a fuse right here, and it had popped way out, and I tried to reset it and it didn't work. I'm not sure what that's about. I did order a new fuse, so that's on its way. I can't really do anything in the meantime. There is a couple spots like here where, because of the original engine mounts, this thing was just shoved in here and these were rubbing against each other. And there's just a couple spots where it's like almost an oopsie, but not quite yet. So I'm wondering if maybe there's a sketchy connection there. We'll have to figure it out once the new fuse panel comes in. We'll kind of move stuff around and see. Yeah, stuff like that's a little bit worrisome. I didn't really see any other areas that are like that on here now, that everything's kind of positioned and secured down. So hopefully that was the last of it. Let's see if we can draw out of the tank with this pump here. I hear bubbling. Crack this little guy here. Okay. Glad I'm doing this now instead of when everything else is installed. Yeah, I can hear it draining back into the fuel tank, so I think we're going to call this good. There we go. I think we're ready for the air intake. Now, some idiot broke the old one of these when they were putting the engine in, so I had to get a new one. They don't give you a lot of room to work on this thing. Gonna have a minor issue with this fuel line, but I think we can just strap that out of the way. You're never gonna believe this, but the air filter was pretty dirty, so I'm gonna wash it here. Let's see, so I think we wanna... Just, please, thank you. Oh, you're kidding me, right? Oh, yeah, those are gonna fall out. Okay, oops. So I think we want this here. I mean, can you just, thank you. Now we can start figuring out what we're gonna hit. Which looks like the fuel thing. Maybe. How far do we have to go? Right there? I don't remember it being this cramped in here before. I guess the fuel filter is what's throwing us off. Because I think this is supposed to be like that, because this is supposed to go on here, which is not going to fit past that. And I'm going to have to pressure wash this hose too. This is just for test fitting purposes here. Yep. But this needs to be longer. This, yeah, that's way too big for this. This is, I think, 2.5 inch, and this is 2 1/4, or whatever metric is of that. Gonna have to do a little bit of shopping and see what I can figure out here. Yeah, the Perkins intake was back, that's why. Whoopsies. Okay, it's been a few days. I've already started on the exhaust, but you are not gonna believe what I found on Amazon just poking around. Look at this. This is a 45-degree bend, 2 1/4 to 2 1/2. I mean, it fits on there, right? Yeah, so that angle's right. I just need to cut it down a little bit and cut this one to get this to fit in. This is like the same size as. And then I got this barb fitting off McMaster, which is a 2 1/2. I mean, it's not super tight, but it fits on there. Yeah, same deal. To join those together. And this I'm gonna cut this down, like way down, because it doesn't need to be anywhere near this. And the only modification I'm gonna have to make is this fitting right here, which is for the little, you know, the plugged up detector, whatever you call that thing. It's gonna hit, so I'm gonna have to replace this fitting with, looks like a 90 degree instead of a 45 coming out. Okay, back. Like here. As far forward as I can get it. Yeah, these aren't gonna fit as well. I'm gonna rotate this. Just barely clear this fuel filter. So this needs to be, start with that. Okay. Maybe. Let's just try it if we cut this back. Don't need to cut much. In fact, this might give it some rigidity. That might be a good thing. Ooh. Yeah, that'll keep it from collapsing, because it is kind of flexing a little bit. That's down there all the way. I mean, it's not on there perfect, but you can still easily get a clamp around that. Clamp there, clamp there. And then down here, it's bottomed out, so I think we're good. But before I assemble it, I do need to get a new fitting here. I need to get a 90. And maybe I'll pressure wash this hose too, at least the, please don't break. Okay, good. So we just need a male to female 90. Hopefully this isn't like BSP or something weird to find. It was unfortunately BSP, so I had to order that. You can't really get stuff in BSP at a hardware store around here. Okay, I am going to need some longer bolts here. Can't use the springs right now. Ooh. I have to angle this back a little bit. Okay. Probably don't want to over tighten that. Okay. That on there. And there goes all that stuff. Let's see. Okay. Okay, that's a little bit better. So this should all be tight. Still see and reach that. So all I need to get is just longer bolts here, and we should be good. There is another filter in here, by the way, which is also fairly clean except for the spots where I touched it. All right, it all actually fits. I was getting a little worried there for a little bit. There's actually another inlet up underneath. It was the one I was fighting. On this one, there's a little valve that's supposed to go on it. I found this one like floating around inside of here when I pressure washed it, but it doesn't seem like it's the right size. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the purpose of this valve is when it's with the engine pulses, it's supposed to like blow out large dust particles, that kind of stuff. I have one of these in my shopping cart, and they're like $5 or $10 at Cat. So next time I order a part from them, I'll just order a new one. We'll be fine without it for now. And by the way, I did remember there is a foam gasket right here. I took it off earlier in the video, and when I reassembled it, I didn't put it back on, but it is on here now, so just relax. This is the original exhaust that I pulled off of it. The muffler is hard mounted to the frame with those brackets. Muffler is still good, thankfully, so I don't need to replace that. This flexible pipe was already like ripped in half when I took it off. I ripped it all the way off, but this is kind of what it was on there. So obviously we want a flexible coupling between the muffler and the engine. And then this flange isn't going to work for me. The mounting setup on this engine was extremely difficult for me to locate, but you can see it's these two studs. They're like 2 3/4 inch apart, which is very narrow. And then it's kind of like rounded in right here. And there's not really a big surface on here for a flange to put on. After a lot of looking, I found this pipe. This is off a Komatsu forklift. And it has, I think this is the right mounting flange. So it's got like this curved metal part, which gets kind of crushed in for a seal. And then this is the 2 3/4 bolt spacing. I really only need, I didn't realize that it has this sensor spot right here, but I really only need like just this, and then I can weld up whatever I need. This is a really small pipe. How much slack is there? So it's actually hitting the frame if you push it all the way back on these slotted holes. I guess we should make sure it doesn't hit the door if you close it all the way with it all the way forward. Oh yeah, tons of clearance on that. Okay, so the original pipe, this is a 2-inch pipe. And then you got this guy. Let me cut this off. Came with, let's make sure this thing actually fits. Oh, that looks good, yeah. It's definitely right. I can rotate that. Don't really have any 1.5-inch pipe on hand. I do have a lot of 2-inch though, so we can get this kind of part figured out a little bit. This is a flexible coupling, and this should go that way. I might need to go at an angle out of here. No, did I cut that off too far? I think I cut that off too close, but that might work. Let's see. What we need actually is more angle. Oh, that's closer. There. Remember what I was doing here. And this goes over, right? So I think if I just cut way down on here. Okay, I think that was right on the borderline of cutting off too much, because, you know, this is right where their tool is expanding the pipe, so it gets a little distorted, but I think that'll be okay. Ow! It's close enough for now. And so after monkeying around with all these pieces that I've cut off for way too long, I think I finally found a combination that's going to work. I had to cut this pipe like way back, and then I ended up not using the transition pieces that I bought. This pipe fits right in here, and then it's cut at an angle, and it actually slips around this thing really well. And then there's no gaps. I mean, I can feel behind here there's no gaps or anything, so this should weld up pretty good. But now I have to take it all the way back apart because I need to put all this stuff back on and, you know, bolt everything down. One thing I learned, and I learned this the hard way, is when you're doing something like this, you need to completely bolt everything in before you weld. You can't just hand tighten stuff on here because it never works if you hand tighten it. You got to bolt everything down. So let's go do that. Okay. I had to to really beat on this exhaust clamp to get it off, so hopefully I can reuse it. Kind of not easy to... Or we can just bend this one back. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we can get this on here. You can't see it, but I can see it. The pen is lined up pretty good. Go ahead and tighten this down. Ooh, is this gonna... Yeah, that'll work. Oh, and I didn't mark which was which. And then that one rubbed off, so basically all the work I did before doesn't matter. All right, she's in there pretty good. One other thing, and I've used these before, they do work well, but you just want to make sure before you weld anything that they're not like loaded up. So like the spacing between these ribs, it should look pretty straight, and we're pretty good there. Not the best. Nope. Just lost my ground. Oh, come on. Okay. All right, full disclaimer, I'm not a good welder, but I was being pretty liberal with it, and a lot of spots I had to just keep going over because either I burned through or I just kind of can spot where a leak's gonna be. So, I mean, it's not that bad. If you compare that to the stock welds, you know, theirs aren't that pretty either. So I'm happy with this. I think it's not gonna leak too bad. Over here where there's like a ton of boogers stuck on there, I mean, there was a huge gap I had to fill in, so that took a while. And that's on there pretty good. I guess we'll see if this thing still fits though. You wouldn't know from how short this thing is, but there's actually a lot of flex in here. And that's still incredibly hot. Unfortunately, the really ugly part is what's visible on the weld there, but exhaust is done. It's gonna be nice to have this thing out of the shop finally. Okay. I lift it this high. Almost. Come on now. Oh, my finger. Okay. Oh. The thing's not super heavy, so I think might be able to. Okay. Nice and easy. Come on. There we go. Oh boy, it's gonna be tight. I really hope that fits. This has to go down to there. This guy goes on there somewhere. Maybe just lift it. Yep. We also got the coolant hoses to add on top of all this mess. Let's see. Hitting this hydraulic hose here. Let's see if I can put them up here. Uh-oh. Okay, I see one problem. Here's the first problem, is this little drain hose is hitting the valve cover. But that's an easy fix. And that just goes, I think that just goes up to here. And I disconnected it because I think lines are going up through it or something. Okay. Might have to put a 90 on that one. Whew, we're so close. Okay, the hydraulic motor is hitting this injection line. That's an easy fix. And what else was hitting? Oh, this fan shroud, this fan cage is hitting this. So that's also an easy fix. We just rotate that around. Let's do that. Just see if we can do this without causing any problems. I just need to bend it just ever so slightly. Okay, I think that's it. It's not latching though. Let's try a little harder. Oh, yeah, that was it. You can see what's going on here. So that fan motor is just, it's past it, right? It's not touching it. It just barely clears it. It is touching the intake right there. So if it's starting to wear a hole, you know, we'll just have to keep an eye on it. And then we're gonna have to do like a straight 90 or just rework the hose. And then the fan cage up there, just slightly touching. So we'll just see what happens. It's okay for now. This one has to go. That wouldn't fit there, right? Okay. How about this one? By the way, in the previous video, a few people noticed, or they thought that they saw a crack in the pump, like input gear. That's not a crack, that's supposed to be there. I'm not really sure why it's there. It might be because since it's interfacing with a nylon gear, if it expands with temperature, maybe it's just so it doesn't break the gear. That'd be my guess. Okay, if I recall, this went up in here. Did that go there? It's up here. There we go. Let's do her quick. That's not quick. Gonna be a mess too. I put a bucket down to catch the fluid, by the way. Yep, that's a mess. Okay. And this here is the new hose that I made in the last video. So let's get this thing ready to go here. There we go. Okay, that is also leaking. Okay, let's get you in there. Okay, we got a little bit of a problem here. Nothing to freak out about yet, though. as we close it, those these two lines are hitting the pipe or the intake. Really, I think it's just that bottom one is the problem. The other one's going to tuck away. There's plenty of space to re-engineer that intake, but we kind of already have the sunk cost fallacy going on. So I think what we're going to do is see if we can reposition that hose. So I've taken the hose off here, and basically all I need to do is put a 90-degree fitting instead of a straight in fitting. So the hose goes right here, and then when it comes down, it's not going to hit, it's going to go right here. It's not going to hit that intake. This hose slides right up over the intake. It behaves very nicely. And then we're just closed right there. And there's plenty of space for a 90-degree fitting. This hose is probably going to be too long. It needs to be about 4 or 5 inches shorter. 1500 PSI working pressure, so this is just going to be 2-wire hose. Is this dash 10 as well? Yeah, this is a dash 10 hose. So I think I actually already have some 2-wire dash 10. So we'll just make a new hose. I'm going to order the fittings I need, and then I'll be done in this video. All right, I still have to do coolant lines, but I don't think those are going to be a problem because it seems like there's a lot of space for them. Let's just see if this thing closes. It's going to be so satisfying if this all closes. Yes. All right, we got this thing. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to take those hinges back out to get this in. Kind of pull it up while it's... Just don't pull it too far. Easy. Easy. Okay, there we go. Wish I would have known that this goes in at the same time. Okay. Yep. Good. All right, I got a new main breaker. This is a 60 amp. This is the old one. It's made by Texas Instruments. I actually tried searching for this part number and anything similar, and this old, like new old stock Cat one, which I found on eBay, which matches the Cat part number. It was way cheaper than anything else I could find. It was like 20 or 30 bucks. So this one's also made by Texas Instruments, but looks like it's a little bit of an updated design. Looks like the bolt holes are going to line up. Okay, it's in there. It's all wired up. Let's give her a shot. I got the key on right now, so let's see. Can't find... I'm gonna have to order a new key switch because this thing is busted. Very annoying. Oh, not cranking. Do you have to be sitting in the seat? You have to be sitting in the seat, lap belt down to make this thing crank. All right, coolant pipes. So I think this one went on that side. And then this one seems kind of long. That's going to be way too long. Okay, I got some new hose here from McMaster. This is supposed to be ultra flexible coolant hose. The old hose on here, this has a date of 2004, which I think is going to make this original to the machine, which would make sense because as I was pulling it apart, it basically was falling apart in my hand. A lot of wear marks on here if you look over this stuff. Now technically these two hoses aren't the same size. These fittings are a little bit, tiny bit bigger, but not a lot, so we'll just try to make do. Put a little bit of grease on here. It's on there enough. The barb's like right here. It was extremely difficult to get this thing on here. I guess it would have been good to have the right size hose. Okay, let's see how this fits. I did look at some old pictures to see how much slack there was. And I think we're gonna have a little bit more than we need. Just a little bit. Okay, more than a little bit. That's not bad. This thing does rotate on here, but that's okay. I think we should maybe put the clamp on in this position since this is where it's going to spend all its time. It does rotate on there though. Nope, still rotating. That's better. Well, we'll just do some trial and error on that one. There we go. This one's going to be one really close to the exhaust. When it goes down, it's going to want to fold under the muffler. All right, just looked at some old pictures, and basically what Cat had done is this came off and went at a 90-degree angle that way, which would explain how they dealt with the exhaust situation. Let's see what it does when it's down, I guess. That's the first step. Because really, it just, as long as it's not touching while it's on, it should be mostly okay. We might need a 90-degree elbow. I think that would really do a lot for us. Well, this is kind of a stopping point for tonight, but I want to see it run now. So I'm gonna hook this hydraulic line back up just to see if the fan works and all that, and then we'll give it a little test fire here, see if we can get it started. All right, let's see. Anything we're forgetting? There's oil in the engine. The hydraulic tank's a little bit low, but it should be fine. So let's give her some glow plug for a sec. Then I got to get this janky key to work. More glow plug. Can't get this key to work. Horn work? Yep. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I see smoke coming out the back, so we got fuel. Is the glow plug working? Is this the glow plug button? All right, keep an eye on that DMM through the window there. Hold on one sec. Glow plug button, not working. 0 volts. Most glow plug circuits usually have a relay to handle it, and it's kind of hard to hear around the beeping. Let's see if I can hear it though. Okay, I got this. I can kind of stick through here, hit the glow plug relay, and then I can maybe hopefully listen with my ear over here. Oh, I hear a relay. All right, well, I guess before we get too far ahead of ourselves and start taking stuff apart, let's manually short the glow plugs out and see if we can get started that way. Fortunately, I left this in. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and shove this in here, run around, jump in the seat, and try to start it. And then run back and unplug this. It should be fine. Do we have a fire extinguisher handy? It's your job, Charlie. Glow plugs. Oh. Oh boy. Okay, quickly. Huh. Key's not working. glow plugs off. All right. Turn the lights off. Running pretty smooth. Before it overheats here, let's see if we can raise the hydraulics. There's no oil pressure light. That doesn't sound good. That was kind of a weird sound. We are low on hydraulic fluid, so we don't want to mess around with that too much. Well, in the previous video, I replaced the hose clamp on this leaking hydraulic hose, and I figured it wouldn't work, and sure enough, it's still leaking. So I got a brand new one here from Cat. Hopefully it fits. It looks like it's bent properly, but this hose also acts as the drain hose for the entire system, so I think I'm going to go ahead and pump this tank out. This is a brand new bucket. Hopefully should keep the fluid clean. By the way, this afternoon, I think I did fix the glow plug issue. I tracked down which of the relays was a glow plug relay and popped it out and reconditioned it. So afterwards, I was able to measure 12 volts on the glow plugs when I hit the button. So we'll try that after doing this, I guess. A good solid 4 gallons out. This tank only holds like 9. All right, so the next step, I may as well go all the way here, and if you can see that hose hanging down. Yeah, there you go. So if you see that hose hanging down there, that's the hydraulic drain hose. I already pulled that through. It sits up inside, but you can point it out through a drain hole. So we're gonna go ahead and drain the whole system. This is the hose we're replacing. And it goes into that silver box down there. And if you look in here just right, let me see if I can get a good angle. And then right on the back of the box, you can't really see it because the hose we're replacing is in the way. There's a little brass valve that you have to turn. I already tried turning it stuck, so I'll get a little bit of leverage on there. It's really hard to reach it. And that opens up the drain cock. We use this socket to get some torque on that valve. Ow. Ow. Where is it? There is it. Can't get my knees down. There we go. Oh, I got it. It's draining. You can see the line right there, not really filling up too quick. All right, well, here's to hoping that the tank itself isn't broken. What in the... I mean, just... So here's the hose. Wait, is this the... This really doesn't feel that bad. Let's take a look at the tank. Okay, well, I shoved a rag up in there so it wouldn't leak, and I noticed it actually, the plastic wall, the wall thickness on that neck is actually quite thick. The hole is probably only as big as my finger, but the actual neck is that big. It's all solid, so that's good. It means they did a good job of designing it. But let's take a look, just make sure we don't see anything with the bore scope. We got the side camera on. Oh, something's buzzing in my ear. Let's see. See, if you see, it's like all dimpled, like the plastic. Can I get a good angle of that? There we go. That plastic is all dimpled, and there's like creases in it. What is that? Yeah. That doesn't do any favors when you're trying to seal. But this isn't really a high pressure. So that side's okay, but where's a... Is it leaking up here? I mean, it does look a little wet right there, doesn't it? So I didn't see anything physically wrong on that, on the tank fitting. Just besides that texture on it, which is not good, best for sealing, I don't think. It seemed to be okay. There's a couple indents on it, and I think maybe from over tightening a hose clamp or something. I did compare the old hose to this one a little bit more, and this one is way softer. I'm just gonna have to try it, and hopefully it doesn't leak again. There we go. I'm standing on a load-bearing 5-gallon bucket. All right, we're putting the good stuff back in. And I'm gonna pour this sideways for a little bit. Oh, this stuff's not pink, it's white. Probably should check that hose I replaced, make sure it's not just dumping fluid out. All right, this is the stuff that I got out. It's about a gallon of it. And it actually looks pretty good. So we'll just reuse some of this. Ooh, are we at the sight glass? We're at the sight glass. All right, let me give a little bit more. And there's not much left. So we were down about 5 gallons. Better. There's a little bit, but now it's gone. It's still there. Hydraulics work? That works. Whoa! All right, never mind, hydraulics are working. All right, well, unfortunately my microphone was muted for this next few seconds of footage, but I just wanted to point out I got this 90-degree fitting for the coolant line. And then this hose here, we'll revisit it later in the video, but I think I may have cut it too short here. You can kind of see me fumbling around with it. Basically what's happening is when you try to close the radiator, the coolant line actually needs to be longer. It needs to extend. So I cut it too short. And this is just me looking at the radiator cap. We're going to do 50-50. Maybe I should have started with water to check for leaks. That would have been too smart. Okay. Well, no hoses are leaking, but I'm glad I did a final check because this is on here. That would have been bad. sounds so smooth from the front. I'm standing right by the camera here. It's so quiet up here. Pretty quiet. Now we're at idle. It's running a lot smoother at idle now. While it's warming up though, I'm going to pull it forward off of the rollers just so I can kind of clean up the mess underneath for a little bit. So I'm going to eventually have to take the tires off too. I'm also going to exercise the hydraulics up and down a few times because I'm going to change the filter out right after this. So let's give it a shot. Hopefully I don't fall out. And actually before I do the hydraulics, I'm going to have to bolt the cabin so it doesn't lift up when I lift the hydraulics like I did last night. Go on. Nope. Okay, well now it's idling right now. It's warmed up, the thermostat's open, and it's really smooth, so I'm happy with that. Even though the back door's open and the top's not all the way down, we're gonna take it for a little test drive here. We pretty much have to at this point. All right, so I learned what some of these buttons do. That's glow plug, that's the parking brake. And then this is the load leveler, which is really nice. I think it keeps it flat when you're raising it. And then this is the I think this is the safety override for this thing, so you can use aux hydraulics while you're not sitting in it. But anyway, let's the controls on here are really smooth with Charlie. They're so much nicer than my tractor, it's crazy. Give it a little more gas. So smooth. Gotta get used to that. Let's give her a little more. Wants to lift up. with me. I've never done this before. There we go. Aha. My bucket's not locked. I see that now. Doesn't work quite perfectly, but it's close. That's always the test I forget. Well, start back up. Because if anything goes wrong, you don't know it till later. Well, that was a lot of fun last night. I guess now I want to make sure that all the hydraulic repairs I made, it's not leaking. So that's probably the next step. Then I can kind of bolt all this back in. Of course, this is in my way now. Also, the hitch is not locking on here. It's stuck, so maybe we should wash that off too. Okay, first things first. That looks pretty good. So we'll call that fixed for now. Right over here. This was the one I wasn't 100% sure on. I don't really see anything bad there. About this hose, looks good. Yep, that is not leaking. There's a little bit of moisture down on the bottom, but I think that's just from when I was installing it. And then these hoses I reinstalled, they're looking pretty good. So no leaks there. This went in here somewhere. That's not right. It's crazy how much better the controls are on this thing than my tractor. I always have a ton of people in the comments like telling me that I'm using my tractor wrong, that the hydraulics are jerky because I don't have the throttle up or whatever, but it just has really bad hydraulics on it. And this thing is so smooth, it's incredible. just not used to having something quality. So the parts manual actually calls out zip ties to restrain these things down below. I don't really see a good spot like to cinch them around. I got the big ones for taking hostages, which was, I think, was on there before. We'll just try them out here and see. They're probably going to pop up though. Right here. Before we lock the cab down, probably need to top out the hydraulic fluid. Yeah, we're a little over half. And while I'm thinking of it, maybe we should swap out this hydraulic filter. That was the original plan. This thing's probably gonna be super tight. Yep. That's gonna make a mess. Well, it's just coming out. I don't know what to do. Go ahead and pre-fill this. And we'll mark the hours. I think the other filter had 3240 hours on it, which is, I think that's what's close to what this machine has now. That was a pretty new filter. Oh wait, hold on. Let me get the O-ring lubricated. May 6, 25, and we are at 3355 hours. Previous filter was marked December 15th, 2022. So yeah, 3 years ago, and it was 3248 hours. So they put about 100 hours on before the engine blew up, which was not their fault, despite all the dirt in here. Stuff doesn't want to fold under. And I think the cab seems to be warped a little bit, so it's a little bit hard going in here. It's tire lube. Works really well though, for that kind of stuff. So this should just oh, yep. The other one didn't go in though. Let's get both these in at the same time. Okay, this is gonna be fun. It's just slightly bent is all. It's the only problem. Nope, nope. There we go. Now I noticed the arms were hitting the cab when it was going up because this cab has been damaged at some point. That's okay, we can maybe bend it back later. Okay, can you? I think that's good. Well, I was planning on doing this in the next video, but still waiting on those hydraulic lines. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to lift those tires up, work around that bucket and Charlie, and then load those. And maybe we can get the tires replaced in this video. I'm gonna worry about those glow plugs every time. Broke these free. There we go. I definitely need to wash this thing. It's full of, you can tell it's full of junk because these are really hard to, can't even get this one. Where's Charlie? Should probably hit that with a pressure washer. All right, I'm gonna take these to the tire shop and catch up with you after that. Well, not really a big surprise here, but the tire shop wasn't able to get the bead set on these. It's an automotive place. They're really not set up for the heavy stuff. What are these? They're Westlake 12 ply EL76. Now, hopefully we can set it ourselves here. Oh, this is going to be easy. It's pretty close. I might have the regulator on, hold on. Is it holding it? Maybe another ratchet or two and we'll be good. Or is it set? Oh, it might actually be set. Let's see. Yeah, I think she's set. What's this supposed to go to? 90 PSI? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's at 34, so it is holding pressure. Not have my finger stuck in. Okay, well, I'll fill this up the rest of the way later. Let's do the next wheel. All right, it's been a while, but I got the second one set here. It took me a little bit to realize what the missing piece of the puzzle was. When I took the first wheel and tire out of the truck, it was already lubed. I think that was probably the one they had tried to set. So the lube is the secret. You gotta have this thing really lubed up. I put a ton on here, and that really helped seal it, and then it popped right on after that with the ratchet strap. Hopefully the third and fourth one should go a lot faster now. Yeah, the other thing that helps too is when you put the ratchet strap on, you kind of go slow and make sure that the tire's centered. It gets kind of cockeyed over and then you have problems. The other wheel had a dent in it too, which did not help. It was very hard. It's kind of hard working around that. I just want to make sure that the rim's centered in here, mostly. The ratchet strap kind of makes the tire not round anymore. But okay, let's try that. Oh, yep, I got it, I think. I think we got it already. I think it's set. I don't want to go too much because this ratchet strap's putting a ton of force on it. And it's going to want to break my hand here. There we go. So that second tire took me about an hour. This one took me about 6 minutes. Now that I know the secret. Yep. Yep, we're good. Yep, perfect. First try. There we go. Okay, so that was all the contaminated dirt that was inside the machine that I cleaned out in the last video. So now we can pressure wash the rest of this. There is kind of a worrying stain right here. Looks like there might be a leak around that, I don't know what you call that, axle housing or something. I think we'll check that out in the next video because I also want to check out like the drive chain and the fluid in there. I just don't want to do it in this. This video is probably going to be way too long already as it is. Well, this black hub's clearly been replaced. A lot of tar on all these hubs. Really hard to get off. You have to wait till it warms up with the hot water and the pressure washer. I missed quite a bit there, but that's okay. Well, unfortunately, these look to be at like kind of directional tread. Not that it matters, but the tire shop got one of them flipped around the wrong way, so it's gonna look a little bit weird, but who cares? All right. I aired these up to about 60 psi last night. So still got a ways to go on that front. Yeah, I think something's up with this new wrench I got. It shuts itself off like all the time, even when you're like removing bolts. I think it's supposed to turn off, like the 1, 2, and 3 are different torques and it's supposed to turn off. But even when you have it in bolt mode, it just shuts off like after 1 or 2 clicks. Sometimes if you hold the trigger down like halfway, it won't, but it's really sketchy. I think something's wrong with it. I'm gonna have to find a way to get it repaired or something. It's probably already out of warranty or... This one's always been reliable. No, air's off. All right. Okay, now as you can see, the tread's backwards on all of them, except for that one. Looking good. Yeah. Give it a little bit more, it's kind of cold out. Charlie, let me get this out of here. Oh. Well, you never believe it, but this thing stayed up by itself all night, which is kind of impressive for how old it is. All right, so this one was actually working really well last night after I washed it, but now it's not. And if you look right here, you see this is hanging up and it's not, that bar's not moving. And I'm pretty sure this is attached directly to the pin that comes out right here. So we're gonna try greasing this real quick. You have to kind of like work this back and forth a little bit. Oh, wow. What a difference. Huge difference on that. That thing is stuck, man. Here. Oh, there we go. I think I got it. Yep. It was just stuck. Whoops. There we go. Give it a little bit. Where's that coming out? Oh, it's coming out there. That's nice. All right, I call that fixed. So the next video, I'm going to end up doing a lot of work in the next video, but before I do that, I'm going to be checking the drive chain and all that stuff, and as well as greasing everything, and probably doing another pressure wash just to get all the stuff with the arms up. There's a ton of junk underneath there. But for now, all the parts I've been waiting for are here, so we can finally finish. Kind of need to see how long this is. Okay, so this is going to go here. That is that hose. Just okay. About that long. Probably make sure this is going to work before I crimp it. Yeah, I think that should be fine. So what kind of hose did I get here? This is it's a 2-wire hose. I think this is their high abrasion hose. It has like an extra coating on it to help it hold up better. It's good for like 3,000 or 4,000 psi though. Okay. I think I just added more fluid. Ready? Not too bad. Just a little bit. Okay. And I hope I didn't make this too short. It seems way shorter than the other one. Okay, well I ended up making it too short a little bit, but it ended up working out okay. So it's going right over there. So originally I went through that clamp there on the back that I've now passed the coolant overflow tube through and the other hydraulic line, which I kind of like this idea because this coolant tube was hitting the exhaust if you weren't careful. So that's nice and rigid in there. And then this thing's so short that it's not even going to hit anything. I mean, actually, if you look at this looks a little bit suspicious here. I did loosen this fitting down here to kind of bend this pipe over a little bit, but you know, this is pretty tight. But as soon as you close it, it's fine. It tucks right back in there. The bad news though is that this isn't going down all the way because, just as I suspected, this coolant hose over here is too short. I screwed that up. So, I mean, you could probably force it, but it's not good for anything. Hydraulic lines are clearing though. Kind of planning for this to happen. I already have more of this, so I'm going to replace this hose really quick with a longer one. It's going to make a big mess. Well, that was actually not too bad. I'm going to rinse this off before Charlie gets any ideas. But I probably only Probably only spilled about half a gallon, maybe less. Yeah, it's pulling up here. All right, I think we've done it. We have successfully gotten this thing in here. It's really not even touching the intake pipe anymore. I think moving that other hose really freed up some stuff. See if that'll close. Look at that. This thing takes a lot of glow plug. Much easier. Look at that. Pops right in. I guess that's a pretty good place to end the video. The engine swap's pretty much done. The one thing I didn't get to in this video was checking the drive chains and the fluid level in there, so I'll do that in the next video. There's also a couple other small things I need to get, like fixing this, probably use like a fire extinguisher in there or something. And then the arms hit right here when it raises, so I don't really want to deal with bending this all back, but I'll at least hit that out of the way. And then besides greasing that, this thing's pretty much ready to go. So I think in the next video, I just have a lot of work for it to do. I got this brand new bucket here, which truthfully, I think I spent about the same amount that I spent on the machine on this bucket. It's a very nice one. So we'll be breaking that out and giving that a little test run. This was a pretty clean engine swap though. I think really the only issue I'm gonna see is this intake. I can almost guarantee is eventually gonna be a cause of problem. So I'll keep an eye on that for now, but I'll just kind of plan. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard. I just need to come straight out instead of up. It's pretty simple. But besides that, this was a pretty easy and solid engine swap. It really helped to pick an engine where everything was kind of in the same spot because it lined up really well and it's in there pretty good. The only other thing to really mention is a couple times it was a little bit hard to start. And one of the times I think it might have been the glow plug relay going out again, so I should probably go ahead and replace that. Also, the few times I was doing it, I accidentally left the throttle on, which it's still on there right now, and that makes it start a lot harder. It was a lot happier with idle trying to start. I think it was just too much fuel. I'll have to keep experimenting with that, how much glow plug you need to run before you try starting it and all that, but that's kind of a minor thing. Anyways, guys, if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, it's nice and peaceful out here. Refilling the pond. Let's go grab some eggs and see what happens. Yep, they just spotted me. So we gotta do this quick. Okay. Hello. How's it going? Okay, good. No eggs. Okay, okay. All right. Oh, yeah, let's stay out, let's stay out. No, don't come in. Come on. Whoa! Yeah! Sitting on his... Nice, Ducky. Right, this is the mean one right here. You gotta move quick. I got it. Nope, nothing under there. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Now we're gonna get out of here. Ready? Easy. All right. Piece of cake.